It's finally time to share that I can't always just share the positive aspects of living in certain areas. The truth is, like any big metro area, there are neighborhoods within cities that are not as highly ranked due to safety and crime. I am not here to steer anyone in any type of direction. I am just here to share the facts about certain neighborhoods. I do talk with many out of state buyers as well as first time home buyers who don't know the areas quite as well. So, as long as I can educate you, then that is my goal. And before we continue on, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as I have so much more to share with you guys. I am going to share with you 4 of what some people would consider the worst places to live in Phoenix. But what's really important to remember is it comes down to your due diligence. If something is bringing you to a certain neighborhood, that is great. It is on you as the buyer to do your own due diligence on what is going on in the neighborhoods. But this is what people are saying. This is what statistics are telling us. Coming in at number 4 is Alhambra. Alhambra. As you can see, the 17 does run through Alhambra. And some other main points here would be that we are right above kind of the midtown, and Uptown Phoenix does run into what they are considering to be the Alhambra area. And like all of these other areas, not every single pocket is going to be considered dangerous, but there definitely are enough pockets within Alhambra that would categorize it as maybe not one of the safest places to live. The median household income in Alhambra is just under $66,000. Unfortunately, they do have parks, which is a good thing, but many of those parks are just full of homeless people who have been priced out of most of the metro area, including Alhambra. According to niche.com, people who have lived there did report that they don't necessarily feel comfortable walking around due to the homeless people who have set up areas along the streets or in the parks. They do notice some drug activity as well being done within those homeless communities, and also down any alleys where groups do gather, and they probably wouldn't let their kids walk around the neighborhood alone either. Number 3 is Maryville. Taking a look at a map, this is Maryville. You can see its relation to Phoenix, and 2 main highways are the 17 and the 10. It does come out here towards where you see Camelback Ranch. One thing to note, there are lots of venues in this area, including the Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater and Camelback Ranch, which hosts spring training games. Although there are parts of this neighborhood that may be hit or miss, anytime there is a big event going on, those areas are closely monitored and it is safe to attend those events. The median household income in Maryville is just under $64,000. According to residents who have posted reviews on niche.com, it does seem like Maryville has a sense of community. A lot of people who live there have lived there for a really long time, which can definitely be a positive. But they do admit to crime that they do see oftentimes, or they hear a lot of gunshots. One person does mention that it might not be perfect, but they can afford to live there. And that does make a big difference too. Much of the metro area is getting very expensive. So if you can find pockets of affordability, then you make that work. Coming in at number 2 is South Mountain. Taking a look at South Mountain, it is south of downtown Phoenix and the airport. One thing to keep in mind about South Mountain is there can be really beautiful parts of South Mountain. There are areas to hike. Now, if you take a closer look here, we see Baseline Road. Anything south of Baseline is actually a nice area, and there can be beautiful homes and, like I mentioned, good hiking. It's what's north of Baseline that may be a little bit more questionable in terms of safety and crime. The median household income in South Mountain is sitting right at about $70,000. As I mentioned, south of Baseline, people really do like the South Mountain area. As you go north of Baseline, that is where reviews from niche.com residents are stating that schools, crime, and the traffic gets a little bit iffy. Coming in as the number one worst place to live in Phoenix is Central City. Central City does place itself kind of in the heart of Phoenix. It is near the airport. It just is kind of a lot of hustle and bustle. This area does seem to be cleaning itself up a bit, but there are still pockets within Central City that you want to be careful of. The median household income in Central City is just under $50,000. According to niche.com, 76% of the residents in Central City do rent their homes versus own them. A resident, though, on niche.com did state that they feel like it's a work in progress, which is really good to hear because Central City is so close to downtown and the airport. If they could get it cleaned up a bit, I think that would do wonders for Phoenix. Please let me know in the comments if you have any firsthand experience in these areas. Like I mentioned earlier, the best thing a buyer can do is their due diligence. And I am just here to educate you and share statistics about what we know about these neighborhoods. But if one of these neighborhoods is a good option for you because they're more affordable or because they're so central, then that's great. Let's talk about it. But overall, I think that it's important to have a good understanding of what's considered good places to live in the Phoenix area and where the not so great places to live in the Phoenix area are. So I hope you found this helpful. Don't hesitate to share your thoughts with me. I do have a link to my team's first-time home buyer guide below, so definitely check that out. And then I also have a link so you can actually search for homes for sale throughout the entire Phoenix area. So if you want to see what homes are for sale in those neighborhoods, make sure you check that out. I'll see you guys again next week.